At the start of Football Manager 2024, you will find Amar Dedic at Red Bull Salzburg. He's 20 years old and can play as a left or right-sided defender, can also move forward into wing-back territory. Looking at his attributes, in terms of the physicals, it's about his acceleration, pace, stamina and strength. In the mentals, he scores highly for his determination. He has good leadership, composure, positioning, teamwork and work rate. And then in the technicals, he's got good first touch, marking, tackling and technique. He's a player that doesn't come with any player traits at the start of the game and does look like there is still some development to come. So let's find out what happens with Amar Dedic as we move forward 5 years to 2028 and see how his career is going. It's now 2028, we've jumped forwards 5 years and we find Amar Dedic at Manchester City. He's 25 years old, has played 47 times for Bosnia and is valued at 23 to 70 million pounds. When we look at his player development, he hasn't taken massive steps in his development, but he still has become a better player. When we look at the physicals, acceleration, natural fitness, pace and strength. When we look at the mentals, it's about determination, concentration, decisions, vision and work rate. Then in the technicals, tackling, technique, passing are all 12, marking of 14, first touch of 13 and crossing of 13. His player traits are runs with the ball down the right and gets forward whenever possible. He knocks the ball past opponents. When we look at his history to see how he has got to Manchester City, when we left him in the 23-24 season, he played 10 times that season for Salzburg and 18 times in the 24-25 season before he actually moved on to Paris Saint-Germain. He went there for £34 million and struggled to get into the first team, only playing 5 times before they made a profit as Manchester City bought him for £55 million. In the first season, in the back end of the season, he played 12 times and then he has developed himself into Manchester City's first choice wing-back. 27 appearances in the 26-27 season and 30 appearances in the 27-28 season. So after a failed move to PSG resulted in him going to Manchester City, where will we find him in 2033? It's now 2033 and we find a 30-year-old Amar Dedic has moved to Tottenham. He has 81 caps for Bosnia and he's valued at 11 to 34 million pounds. Looking at his playing attributes, we can see that he's probably now at the peak of his powers, and if anything, a few of the stats have started to have a slight regression. If we look at his playing history to see how he has ended up at Tottenham, we find that he played for Manchester City until the 29-30 season before he moved to Napoli for 21 million. Found first team football hard to come by at Napoli, and then he moved on to Real Madrid for £20.5 million, where he did get into the first team playing 32 times, scoring 1 goal and having 4 assists. Then Tottenham came along and they bought him for £36 million. And unfortunately for him, he has found first team football hard once again. So at the age of 30, there is probably no more development to come from him. And if anything, he might now have a slight drop off as he reaches the twilight of his career. Let's see what happens in the next 5 years as Amar Dedic comes towards the end of his career. It's now 2038 and it's time to check in with Amar Dedic for the final time, and we find him at Blackburn. He's now 35 years old and played 81 times for Bosnia, valued at only £70,000 to £200,000. This will be his final season as he will retire in a matter of weeks. Looking at his attributes then, he has retained quite a bit of his ability at the age of 35, but there is big signs of regression now. Let's look at his playing time as he has moved around the clubs. So from Tottenham, he went to Porto on loan, he went to Benfica on loan, and then he finally landed at Blackburn in the 2036-37 season for £3.9 million, spending the last 2 seasons of his career in the Premier League, making 37 appearances. If we look at his overall appearances for his career, he played in 390 games, scoring 10 goals, providing 20 assists. If we go into his milestones to see if he has won any of the competitions whilst he has been anywhere, so he actually played in the under-21s, was Premier Division Cup winners, he was Allianz Cup winners at Benfica, Liga Portugal Betclic champion with Porto, Conference League winner with Tottenham, he was a FIFA Club World Cup winner with Tottenham, Real Madrid, he won the Supercopa de España, he was Premier League champion with Manchester City, Super Cup runner-up, Charity Shield runner-up, Champions League winner with Manchester City. He was FA Cup runners-up, Carabao Cup winners, Premier League champion in 2029, Community Shield winner and FA Cup winners in 2027, and he was a Champions League winner in 2026. In his time in France, Trophée des Champions winner, Ligue 1 champion, Champions League winner, Coupe de France winner, and at Salzburg, Bundesliga champions in 2023. So he has won a total of the Austrian League, the French League, the Premier League. He won the Portuguese top league. So he has had some career actually with travelling around. He has managed to win himself a number of leagues. In terms of personal accolades, seasonal best 11s for Blackburn, Benfica, Porto. He was in the Tottenham best seasonal 11, UEFA Europa Conference League squad of the season, Real Madrid's best 11, Bosnia's best 11. Whilst at City, he was in City's best 11s. So overall, he has managed to make a stamp on football for himself, whilst not actually being a first team footballer. He was winning things earlier on, and then when he started to get the first team football, he really started to develop, and also then was collecting winners' medals and a few personal accolades towards the end of his career. So he has had a fantastic career. Watching him bounce around, he was at numerous clubs, as we said. He was at he went to PSG, went to Man City, played for Napoli, Tottenham, Porto, Benfica and Blackburn. So one of these players who have been around the block quite a bit, and certainly one of the players who has moved more than others in this series of video. Right then, we're going to call that time on Amar Dedic's career. Obviously, he will be retiring in a couple of weeks, so that will be the last time that we look at him. He's been a fantastic footballer, and certainly one that if you want to sign, he will be Mr. Reliable if you plug him into your teams. Right then, I'm going to leave it at this point of the video. Before I go, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Check out the rest of the channel where there are other hints, tips, tutorials, wonderkids, let's play videos. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in another video very soon.